Perspective, I think drugs were so pervasive, I think, in those days, and I think even if you didn't partake, you were subject to a contact high of some degree or other. One of the things that I decided to do after one particular evening in '67, I think I was working with traffic, and I collapsed on the console, and they had to take me outside and revive me. I swore from that moment on that I would never do anything, and I held that true right till this day. And I think one of the reasons that Jimmy and all the other groups that I worked with, they thought they could rely on me because I was the only person straight. And I kept to that. And I think it's very important for engineers, particularly if you're dealing, with machines and stuff where you have to be accurate and be objective and be on top of the situation. They rely on you for that. And I think they respected me for that. It's a problem. It's very tempting. But I know at Electric Lady, when I ran Electric Lady for like 4 years, I was absolutely strict about it. Anybody just momentarily caught with a joint or anything like that, out the door. I would not stand for it. I was very strict about it, and I still am. I banned smoking in the control room. Cigarette smoking I will not have in the control room at all, period. End of story. I don't care who the band is. If you want to smoke, great. Smoke up a storm in the studio itself, as long as I'm not subjected to it, And that may be contrary to what a lot of other people do, but that's my personal view on it. In answer to the first part of the question, would the sessions have been anything? I don't know. That's like Monday morning quarterbacking. It probably helped them in some way, shape, or form. But on the other hand, a lot of the stuff that you would do, you'd come back and say, oh, God, that sounds like shit. I think I have to redo that because you were too stoned. Excuse me. I think the marijuana use just slows you down, although it can help some people, I guess. It's up to the individual. The other stuff, cocaine and all the rest of it, is dangerous to the point where it affects your hearing and all the rest of that. So I'm dead set against that. I'm really dead set against any kind of drug, from my perspective. What the artist does is up to he or she, but I don't know. I mean, it's. And today we have even more dangerous stuff. I mean, in those days, of course, heroin was available, and I know it's available today, and more kids are unfortunately into it. It's a dead-end street, as far as I'm concerned. It's destructive. It's destructive to the music, I think. I mean, not all of us can be Keith Richards and go to Switzerland and have a blood change, But I mean, even. It's such a. I've seen, unfortunately, so many people in the music business just go bye-bye to the Never Never Land as a result of drugs. It's disturbing. You've got to be very strong. I mean, the pressures are enormous, but still, I still feel there's no excuse for it. I still feel that it's a total waste of time.
Any advice for a student moving in to get themselves in a situation where, oh my God, they're, I'm not sure how to handle the situation?
What do you mean by not handle the situation? You mean they're offered drugs in the control room?
Or it's just around that there's a certain amount of confidence maybe that you need to give people you're working with to develop a relationship. Could be
the best confidence that you can give is of yourself, and of your self-worth. To say politely no. You will gain much more respect that way. And if they don't respect you for it, that's their problem. Got to have a lot of strength for that one. That's a very tough call. I'm very glad you asked that question. It's a serious one, but you got to have a lot of strength. You just have to use willpower beyond belief. But you'll be better for it.
I am very fascinated by John Stork and what he does. Could you comment some on how he has
You can't even draw a straight line. What's your problem?
He seems to do a good job at solving problems, and that's fascinating. But
I love to bust his chops. Excuse me. Any chance I get to bust John's chops is good.
he's obviously had a significant role in the evolution of recording as we know it and what studios are. And could you comment some on how his role has affected what we know now?
John was thrust into the recording studio business, if you will, because of Electric Lady. That was the thing that got him into it. He'd never designed a studio before, and I guess he got lucky, and so did I. There were several problems with Electric Lady in terms of the acoustics, and we corrected them as we went on. I think his work is brilliant. He thinks in terms of shapes, size, dimension, acoustics. I'd love to do another studio with him one of these days. He remains a dear friend. I have the utmost respect for his work. And yes, he is influential. I mean, look at all the stars. There's about 600 studios, am I correct, around the world? That's a major influence. Yeah. There's a lot more to it than just designing studios. I mean, he designs corporate things, you know, buildings. I love it. Incidentally, John designs beautiful structures, homes and businesses and offices. And he's got a very unique style. He's a lot more than just a studio architect. I don't know what else to say about him. Did I cover the bases? Okay.
My question kind of takes off from that. You said that you recorded in places like rooms this big, and in hallways, and in mansions you rented.
Yes.
I was wondering if you prefer to record in places like that still?
Yes.
Or you like to go into studios?
I hate dead studios. I hate dead rooms. I like big rooms. There's a studio upstate New York called Dreamland. You've probably heard about it in Bearsville. Bearsville is about 90 foot long by about 50 foot wide, and about higher than this, about 40 odd feet up, 35, 40 feet up. It's very live. I love that room. I love Dreamland. Dreamland's a little smaller. Bearsville is more concrete. Dreamland's more wood. Dreamland's an old church with a balcony at one end, and it's about 80 foot long by about 40 foot wide. It's a lot narrower. Great drum sound. Very warm. I much prefer a big room with a long decay. Helps my drum sound.
I know you said the film was coming out in a couple of months, but how did you get those sounds on "And the Gods Made Love" and
It's
the
tape delay.
The very beginning. What is it?
Tape delay.
Tape delay.
With a VFO, slow down,
Yeah.
beyond 3 3/4. You can hear the bias. If you listen carefully, you can hear the bias whistle.
Right.
You can hear it going. You can hear all that. That's bias whistle. It's just like I put the. It was a Scully tape machine. You've probably never seen one, but a Scully tape machine went 15, 7.5, 3 3/4, and I hit 3 3/4 and slowed it down beyond that, and then sped it up again.
And what about that first the first line of "Have you ever been?" To Electric Ladyland when I mean there's just that ambiance and then Jimmy's voice kicks in. I mean, how did you do that effect?
Like I said, we had very little at our disposal. We didn't have the lexicon at our disposal. We had tape, and we would wrap the capstan with odd layers of tape to make it go, or we'd put different sleeves on to make it go 60 IPS. Thank you. It was basically reverb, compression, EQ, and tape delay. That's all we had at our disposal, and speed, varying the speed, little phasing. And that's it. Not much to play with.